Welcome in, Dynasty fam. Thank you guys for joining. Got a lot of stuff to break down. Lots of free agent news coming out yesterday for day one. Going to get into our biggest risers and fallers from NFL free agency. Going to start off with some honorable mentions real quick. And for the honorable mentions, we have is going to be there's quite a bit of honorable mentions. I have some deeper ones. Andre Yoshavaz with the news of T. Higgins trying to requesting a trade. Also, Tyler Boyd may be on the move there. So Yoshavaz and Charlie Jones, deep waiver wire dart throws if you wanted to add them. Hunter Henry, you have Jonnu Smith on the move. So Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, right, in better situations now that they're not eating into each other. Khalil Shakir, you have Gabe Davis now in Jacksonville. So Khalil Shakir, small little winner here. Then Evan Hall, guys, you have Zach Moss is out on Cincinnati. So I think JT and Evan Hall, right? Evan Hall started out the year again in the lineup before he got injured. So I like Evan Hall in year two as a winner here, small winner. Then JT as well, not having Zach Moss no longer in that backfield, eating into his carries and touches. Chase Brown right now also going to be competing possibly with Zach Moss. For now, we'll see what they do in the draft. But for now, you got to like Chase Brown there with Zach Moss versus competing against Joe Mixon. Gardner Minshew looking like he's going to be a bridge quarterback there in Oakland. Think he's going to beat out Aiden O'Connell. So I like Gardner Minshew there. Antonio Gibson, guys, I think a small role in that Patriots as a pass catching back. He was kind of getting phased out with the Commanders. So I think a small little winner here, right? Small winner, Antonio Gibson. Then you have Rachaad White, guys, the signing of pretty much with all the names out there that they could have. They bring back Chase Edmonds. So I like this for Rachaad White as well. Some of the fallers possibly not going to like this one, but Jordan Addison, possibly a faller with the news of Kirk Cousins on the move to Atlanta, right? You're going to have Justin Jefferson back. So who knows what's going to happen at QB there. And then we're going to go with Ramondre Stevenson now. He didn't have too much competition in the backfield last year. You got Zeke there. But now with, he was kind of getting some of the pass catching work. Now you have Gibson going to be eating to some of those third down pass catching stuff. So don't like it too much for Ramondre Stevenson. And I think guys that I'm neutral on, pretty much DeAndre Swift, Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is still in a good situation. I think maybe a lesser offense, but still got some good weapons around him. I'm neutral on it for Kirk Cousins. I'm also neutral on it for DeAndre Swift. I know a lot of people are excited about DeAndre Swift next season there in Chicago, but I think he's just going to he's in a lesser offense. He's going to be now in possibly a three-headed backfield with Khalil Herbert. We'll see if they move on from Herbert, but Roschon and Khalil Herbert going to be there. I don't really like it too much. Don't hate it, but don't like it too much for DeAndre Swift. So now we're going to go ahead and get into our top 5 risers and fallers. And at number 1, guys, we're going. Oh, actually, at number 5, starting it out at number 5, our number 5 riser. It was a little bit ago, but still going to have Baker Mayfield on here for our number 5 riser. The faller is going to be Kenny Pickett. So Baker Mayfield signs a 3-year deal, 100 million for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're bringing him back. They also bring back Mike Evans as well. So I like this for Baker Mayfield, only 28 years old, going to have a good supporting cast around him there in Tampa Bay. So right now, keep trade cut. He is the QB 22. I think he's somebody that his value is definitely rising right now, especially in super flex leagues. Then the faller, you have Kenny Pickett, just has continued to struggle year after year, guys. Now they bring in Russell Wilson. They're saying it's going to be a QB battle, but we know that is not happening, guys. There is no QB battle in Pittsburgh. So definitely a faller right now. Only QB 38, but I think he's definitely going to continue to fall in the rankings. Now moving on at number 4, riser and faller. Going to give you 5. At number 4, we have Josh Jacobs. Now, for Josh Jacobs, guys, he ends up in Green Bay. At first, I was a little bit like, what in the world? Didn't like it at first because they had Aaron Jones. He signs a 4-year, $48 million deal in Green Bay. But then right after they release Aaron Jones, so definitely like the upgrade in the offense for Josh Jacobs goes from Aiden O'Connell led offense to now being led by Jordan Love. And that's just an up and coming offense, an exciting offense to be on there in Green Bay. So I like this move for Jacobs. Right now, he's ranked as the RB13 on KTC for Dynasty, but I think he could move up pretty soon. I like this move. I think the value, overall value, even if his ranking don't move up, I think his value, what he's worth as far as picks, should increase over these next few days. And as the fallers, guys, we have Tony Pollard, the RB19 right now on Keep Trade Cut. And also my man Tajay Spears, the RB16 right now on Keep Trade Cut. Now, Tony Pollard is going to be a faller, guys. He had a bad season this year. Definitely below expectations. People were thinking RB1 overall, including myself. I thought that was within the range of outcomes. Goes out, scores 12.9 fantasy points per game, is the RB22 in fantasy. So someone that's definitely on the downfall right now, or on the back end of his career. Now he's downgrading to Tennessee, right? A worse offense, worse offensive line. And I think he's got better competition right here, right? Tajay Spears, I think we'll get into him in a second, but we have Tony Pollard, a 3-year, $24 million deal. I don't hate it, right? But definitely now moving on from Dallas, and he's now competing, I think, with Tajay Spears. The perceived value for Tajay Spears is going to be low. A lot of people are out on him. They're expecting, I guess, him to share the backfield by himself. But now that you don't have Derrick Henry, I mean, I like it better for Tajay Spears in the sense of that to compete against Tony Pollard versus Derrick Henry for touches. I mean, I kind of like it. I think he has a shot to take over and maybe be the lead back. I'm not saying that he is going to be the lead back, but with Derrick Henry there, right, you didn't really have that opportunity. I think that he could be better than Pollard, right? Just coming off a bad injured season, getting another year older, right? He's also bouncing back from the injured season that he had 2 seasons ago. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting, but I think I'm still interested in in Tajay Spears. I'm interested to see what the value is, and I might take a couple of shots on Tajay Spears. So we'll see how it shakes up. Now going into our number 3 riser and faller, going to be Mr. Saquon Barkley. The fallers are going to be Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson. So Barkley inks a 3-year, $37 million deal. And from there, you have, the big time upgrade at the offensive line for Saquon Barkley. Big things coming this season, I think, for Barkley there in Philadelphia. He was an RB9 in points per game this past season with 15.8 in a terrible situation. So I like the landing spot for Saquon Barkley right now in Philly. RB9 right now on KTC. And you could argue, right, you have a couple guys that are ahead of him. ETN, right? I think Barkley, you might want Barkley over ETN right now. So I think he's just an interesting player. I think the value overall is going to increase there in Philadelphia. And then for the fallers, guys, let's get into it. We have Khalil Herbert and Roschon. They are the fallers. And with the addition of Swift, guys, and one thing about, well, with the addition of Swift too, there, one of the arguments I've heard too with Swift, that liking Swift is about, now going on to not have his touchdowns vultured by Jalen Hurts, which may be true, guys, to an extent, but you got to think they're going to have Caleb Williams in there. Caleb Williams had 10 rushing touchdowns himself in college football this past season. So we'll see what happens, guys. Like I said, I'm still a little bit neutral on Swift, but as far as Herbert, right now he is the RB50, so he's already pretty low. But there was some anticipation a little bit like, hey, maybe he can be the lead back this year. He's just going to have to battle against Roschon, maybe Deontay Foreman. So there was a little bit of hope for Khalil Herbert. Now that pretty much hope is gone. Possibly a 3-headed monster there in Chicago. I think Swift's going to get a majority of the usage, but I think they'll still use Khalil Herbert if he's there a little bit to some degree. And I think they'll still use Roschon as well there for some of the series. I think you might see a couple series where you see Khalil Herbert, then Roschon, unless they move on with him. But right now, going to be the fallers for us. going to definitely eat into each other's opportunity, but hopefully Khalil Herbert will be gone, and then we can see a better outcome in that backfield. So now moving on to number 2, guys, free agency risers. This is my number 2 overall, guys. I'm really excited this season for this player, and that is George Pickens. Right now, the wide receiver 29 on KTC. Number 2 faller is going to be Austin Ekeler right now. He was George Pickens was a wide receiver 38 last season in a horrible situation, guys. He was 12.1 fantasy points per game, still just 23 years old. So I think even I'm doing some working on some cornerstone top 25 cornerstone dynasty rankings. I think George Pickens might make it up there. There's another player also that has made the list now and moved up there that I'll talk about at number 1. But so far, guys, just 23 years old still, 63 receptions this past season for 1,100. I think it was like 40 something yards. I have 60 something, but I don't think that's right. I think it's but basically 1,100 plus yards last season, 106 targets. He was 23rd in target share with 21.9% last season for wide receivers, and only 61% of those targets were deemed catchable. He was also second in yards per reception overall with 17.5. Ayuk was first with 17.8. 18th in air yards. That's where he had 1,400. So a lot to like right here for George Pickens coming into this next season with the addition of Russell Wilson. Deontay Johnson also might be on the move. So definitely like George Pickens. I think right now at wide receiver 29 on Keep Trade Cut, somebody that's definitely going to move up very, very soon. Now the faller, we have Austin Ekeler going from the Chargers offense to the Commanders. 2 years, $11 million deal. Probably going to have a rookie QB. We'll see if it's McCarthy, Drake May, right? Maybe Jaden Daniels. I'm not sure, but probably going to have a rookie quarterback or maybe a bridge QB for a few games. And right now you have B-Rob there, who the Commanders seem to like, right? He got a lot of usage this past season. So I think B-Rob is going to be that first and second down back, maybe the goal line back. So you're looking at a reduced role for Austin Ekeler in a lesser offense than the Chargers. So definitely don't like it for Austin Ekeler, another year older. So the good old days of Ekeler being an RB1, pretty much over, 28 years old. One of my fallers, number 2 faller for me on day 1 of NFL free agency. Now heading into our number 1 riser and faller, there's kind of 2 guys here. If you're enjoying the video, guys, also please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe if you like Dynasty Fantasy Football. Support the channel. We would appreciate that. Join the Dynasty fam. So at number 1, here we go. Boom. We have number 1 riser is going to be kind of tie here. We have Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Drake London right now, the wide receiver 14, so he's already not too bad in value right now. And Kyle Pitts, the tight end 7, which I think is going to move very soon. The faller for now is going to be Fields, who we'll talk about in a little bit, QB 18 right now. But now with the addition of Kirk Cousins there in Atlanta, you definitely got to love it for Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Cousins historically has always supported multiple fantasy relevant weapons. You have to think about Thielen and Diggs. Last year, Addison, Jefferson, and Hawk were all fantasy relevant for us, even Addison in his rookie season. So finally get their QB upgrade. It is going to be an awesome season next year for Drake London and Kyle Pitts. London and Pitts also, guys, only 23 years old each. So just crazy, crazy value right now in Dynasty. Definitely shooting up Dynasty rankings for me. So London had 69 receptions this past season, 905 yards, only 2 touchdowns. Definitely going to improve this next season. Wide receiver 36 in fantasy points per game. Wide receiver 44 in points per game with 10.9. Wide receiver 36 in overall fantasy points. Pitts also, guys, last season, first in air yards. First in air yard share with 23.3%. First in unrealized air yards with 479. Only 37th in target quality rating and target quality rate with 64%. 12.6 yards per reception. That was 4th for tight ends. So the fantasy community right now going wild for Laporta, which they should be. But Laporta, guys, 889-yard rookie season, which was good. But now you have Pitts, if you remember, 1,000 plus yards in his rookie season. Right, getting over his injuries still. Now got the QB upgrade. Pitts also younger. He's only 23, guys. That is younger than Kincaid, obviously. Uh, Hawkinson, obviously, that's younger than him. But Kincaid, Hawkinson, McBride, Andrews, all ahead of him right now on keep trade cut. I think that could change very, very soon, early on in the season, with a couple of big games from Fields. And once the fantasy community or the dynasty community gets onto this, so Fields right now, biggest faller for now. We'll see what happens. He's pretty much running out of spots. The last spot available for the most part looking like Denver. All the QB spots are pretty much taken over right now. Fields is running out of time, so things could change quickly. So I still have some hope for Fields, but right now the job insecurity, he's definitely fallen down rankings. Like if you think about Baker Mayfield just secured his job, think about Baker or Fields, it might be Baker right now, right? In the rankings, it doesn't have that, but Baker's 22 right now. But if you think about Baker or Fields, I mean, it's a question where it wasn't before, right? Definitely makes you think. So Fields, my biggest faller so far. So that is it for day one, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be tracking day two as well, probably tomorrow morning. Be sure to like and follow, guys. We got some good content coming out for you. Thanks, and be sure to support the fan.